Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie Man, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Mashle, Magic and Muscles, Season 2, Episode 3. So, what did I think about this week's episode? To be honest, this week's episode was awesome. And the main reason why it was so cool and awesome is because it showcased, once again, one of my favorite characters in the show so far, Rayne, Finn's older brother, the Divine Visionary. It just showcased how powerful he is, as well as how freaking cool he is as well. Because my man is just... he got the sauce. Like, my man is just dripped out. He got the sauce, and he proves, that he's not just talk. Like, he can walk the walk as well. And this week's episode really showcased just how much of a big threat he is in the magic world and how powerful he really is. And I love that. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my martial magic and muscles, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. So last week's episode, we left it off pretty much where, Rayne was about to fight Macaron, the guy with the musical notes and all that. And we pick up with a little bit of that in this week's episode at the beginning of it. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the game of life, which is what Mash and the crew are playing in his house, which was hilarious. That little bit was so funny. And that's one of the things I really like about Mashle, is that the comedy just hits, man. Like, it's consistently always hitting and firing in all cylinders. And that whole thing where they're playing the game of life, it was hilarious. Like, you see Lemon get arrested because I guess she's like a stalker, and she's like, she has to skip 320 turns or something. So something ridiculous. And then you see Dodd being like charmed by a like a love spell, and he loses like 5 million coins or something. And then of course you got freaking Lance. He finds out that his sister, her sister brings a boyfriend over, and he just freaks out. And Finn is the only one that has a nice, like, he lands on a good spot. He's like, oh, return something you stole and get 100 coins back. And then Mash is like, he lands on a spot. It's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be executed because you have no magic. So like, why is it just calling all of them out? Like, he just puts every single character on blast. And I thought that was hilarious because everybody's pissed. Like, everybody's mad at the results. And I thought that was really funny. Lemon, Dodd, Lance, they're all freaking out. And Mash is just sad. And this is just funny, man. Like, this is a great humor in this week's episode, so I love that. But continuing on a serious note, we catch up back with Rayne and Macaron and how they're fighting. And we see that Macaron actually has, Rayne in a predicament, because now we see that he summons all these musical notes that he pretty much gets surrounds Rayne all over. It gets all over Rayne, and he pretty much gets him in a situation where if he were to enchant or use his wand, everything will blow up, because it's like a chain reaction. Like, it's the second you try to even enchant or lift your wand, you pretty much all these notes will explode. Therefore, Rayne will be defeated. However, very important, you see Rayne just like nonchalantly, not even stressing about anything. He's just very calm. And then we cut back to Wahlberg, the headmaster, and he talks about like, hey, do you know why pretty much like Rayne like is a divine visionary? He's talking to the guy with the orange hair, the guy from a couple episodes ago, and he's pretty much explains to him like Rayne is a very skilled individual, and he is the youngest, like he's very powerful, and becoming the divine visionary isn't such an easy feat, and everybody looks up to Rayne so highly. And the reason is because we find out through Rayne showcasing that he is a triple liner, and he not just a triple liner, but he is the single youngest person to ever be able to unlock a triple line, which is insane. It goes to show how powerful, how much of a prodigy he is. So it makes sense why he would be like Goldberg's like right hand man from what we've seen so far. And what we see after that is pretty much him. He continues with the fight with Macaron, and he completely obliterates him. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, Macaron's freaking out. He's like, whoa, what is this power? And he's like, wow, this is a triple liner. Like, I'm so blessed to fight this power. And you just see like, now I know why they call you the Sword King. And you see like a spear kind of thing come out, like a halberd. And Rayne summons this thing, because we find out also through Wahlberg. He explains us how there's always the your normal spell, and then your second, which is what we saw with Abel and Mash, when Abel unlocked, when he showcases second, and he's the transformation of a spell. But we find out also that if you have a triple line, you're able to unlock what lies behind a wand, which is like what we saw Rayne like showcase, we didn't even get to see a good picture of what this powerful entity that he summoned, but we know it's like a god or something. And he was able to, obliterate in one shot Macaron. And while that's happening, we see Macaron just like flies away, but he's also like, you know what, I like that. Like, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go after him sometime, but maybe it didn't work out this time, but I like this. Like, so Macaron still has some, a few Rayne in the future. And Macaron's just lucky enough that he was able to, walk away scotch-free, in the sense that, he didn't really get that injured. But if I'm him, I would stay away from Rayne, because Rayne would just body him. But continuing back on, we catch up. We're pretty much when Mash walks in, and he's like, hey, because he left the game of life earlier because he was freaking out, because he was like, oh, I'm gonna die. So he's like, he runs away, and he's like stress eating, I guess, because he finds his big cream puff. He's like, here, I can eat it peacefully without nobody judging me. And while all that was happening is when Rayne had defeated the guy, like I said, and then he looks at Rayne, he's like, hey, like, thanks, like, thanks for that, I guess. And then Rayne is like, hey, I just happened to be here because I wanted to play with some rabbits or something. It's like, bro, what? Like, come on, get better at your lies, man. But you see, like, Mashle, like, oh, I guess he's a big rabbit fan, like a big fanboy after all. And but in a more serious note, Rayne does deliver some nice, like, nice kind words to Mash. It's like, hey, listen, I thought it was ridiculous what you said, that you wanted to become a divine visionary without using magic. But you know what? There is, you trying to achieve that is a challenge that should be, like, pursued, because, people that don't use magic, they're being persecuted, and they're treated like they're no lesser than like a bug. They have no rights. And I think that somebody like yourself, would be somebody that, could change the world for the better. So, keep pursuing it and do your thing, man. Like, I like those words of encouragement over, like, Rayne. Rayne is, MVP. Like, for me, for sure, MVP. And after that, we cut back to pretty much back to the dorms, and we see that Mash evenly split the coins that he won from Abel and them, evenly split them to pretty much Dot, Finn, Lance, and himself. So they all have 3 coins, and we find out that that's what you need to become a divine visionary, in the sense that that's how you are able to even qualify for the exams. Usually, like, it would take 5 coins for the whole exam tournament to take place, but because of the Innocent Zero situation, they're fast tracking it, so they're making it go faster and much easier. So now it's like 3 coins is enough for you to be participating in this, challenge. So we see that pretty much before the challenge, though, Mash has a nice word with his father, and it's very emotional. It's like Mash's dad is like, hey, I'm sorry for burning you, because now everybody knows that you don't have magic. And Mash just gives his dad some kind words of acknowledgement. He was like, you know what, don't worry about it, because thanks to you, I met my friends, and I love that about it. Like, so Mash met his dad, great little, like, a great moment. I love that, very in the heartstrings. And continuing on, we see that's how pretty much Mash goes, and he goes to the tournament, and then we proceed to see pretty much that he is gonna be right, he's ready for this tournament. Like, he's not even holding back. And while he's walking towards the tournament, we see the guy, the sand divine visionary, the one that said the higher Macaron to take out Mash. We see that he gives Mash some, like, he's just hating on him. Like, he is, we've been drinking too much haterade, and he's just like, you know what, I will never accept you as a human. You suck. And as long as I'm a divine visionary, nothing will ever change, because I'll make sure that nothing changes, because you're scum. And Mash is like, oh yeah, well, and then he starts flexing, and he's talking to his muscles, and it was hilarious, man. Like, Mash is just my man is just built different, because he's like talking to his muscles, like, yeah, you can do it, Mash. It's so silly. But how we ended things off, he's like, he just tells him, like, okay, if you get in my way, I'll stop you, though. And that's like Mash just like, oh, okay, I see it, Mash. I mess with, I agree with you, my man. You do you. And how we end things off, we see pretty much the competitors. We see the tournament competitors that are there, and you see Mash and the rest of the crew. And now we're setting up how we're gonna have a tournament arc, which I'm very excited with, because I love tournament arcs, and I can't wait to see where Mashle and what silly adventures takes us in the future. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more martial magic and muscles, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.